Hello, everyone, and welcome to the Snapchat episode of Spark Talks. We're going to get into how companies are still doing Snapchat wrong and suggest some tips and alternatives. Make sure you tweet us at SparkPR to get in on the conversation with your experiences and opinions. I'm your host, Vanessa Zucker, and I'm Spark's marketing manager. We have an entirely millennial guest list today, which is perfect for Snapchat discussion. First, we have Adam Pryor, account manager in Spark's enterprise practice. Tell me about your experience with Snapchat.
So I used to be an avid Snapchat user. I used it daily, used it to kind of share my story and then kind of communicate with my family and friends. Over the course of the last few months with Instagram stories, I've started using it less and less. But it's really more like my fun space when I want to use like a filter or directly message like someone who I know is on Snapchat.
Next up, we have Rozeta Andres, account executive in both consumer and VC practices. Rozeta has talked about Snapchat before with us on a Fresh Friday episode when Snap first released the Spectacles. What's your experience like?
I am a daily Snapchat user. It sounds like we're at AA. But
Hi, I'm Rozeta.
But I have used it less, but I don't think it's not due to anything. It's just kind of like what's going on in my life. I do still check it daily, but I don't really post daily. And then private communications, it's usually limited to people responding to what's on my story or me responding to other people's story. Or if I just meet someone online and I don't want to give them my phone number yet, I'll give them my Snapchat and chat with them through there.
Good idea.
Yeah.
We also have Ethan May, account coordinator in the consumer practice. What's your experience with Snapchat?
I'm an avid Snapchat user. I use it every day. But it hasn't been until very recently that I've started to kind of get over it. I use it to keep in touch with a lot of people from high school that I wouldn't normally talk to on a normal basis. So it's interesting to be able to see what they're doing, but I've noticed that I've started to use it less and less.
All right, all you individual users using for your personal reasons.
That's what it is.
Now, I know that we've seen lots of examples of consumer companies on Snapchat giving promo codes or introducing a new product or doing an unboxing. But here's my question. I'm going to take it to the next level. Should enterprise companies be using Snapchat at all? I mean, it's enticing to do the cool thing that consumer companies are doing, but is it actually effective for a B2B company?
I think net, no. It's not going to help reach their target audience. You're selling to a business and other businesses, their key decision makers aren't the ones manning their Snapchats. I think it takes a very special company to pull it off. So the only one I can think of is like a Salesforce, but only implementing that at Dreamforce. And that's just to kind of engage the audience that's there.
Yeah, and I think for enterprise companies, I think the only effective use of it would be for recruiting. Just because, especially if they want to hit that younger demographic. But I don't think it will help with their sales goals or anything like that.
And I even think that like a younger audience kind of sees through a B2B company doing like a "this is our people" type channel on Snapchat. I'm not sure.
Yeah, totally. I think I kind of would look at it and be like, I don't think I ever want to work there.
I use Snapchat as a way to gather news, and that's it. And I think that's the only effective way people can use Snapchat. So for a B2B type thing, I just don't think it's going to work.
Yeah, especially because when I think about my favorite consumer companies that are on Snapchat that I do follow, like Taco Bell, there is no way I could see them reaching their target, like a B2B company reaching their target audience through that.
Plus, like with Taco Bell, you're able to kind of let loose a little bit, and you can kind of be funnier, whereas you just have to be more formal when it's a B2B company.
Yeah, like a Taco Bell or a consumer company is like naturally more playful than what a B2B.
Than Cisco.
Exactly.
Not to throw
Well, you
Cisco
don't think
under the
Cisco's
bus.
sexy? Yeah.
Cisco's not that sexy compared to Taco Bell.
Yeah.
Let's be real.
I do want to mention this is a B2C company example, but I just want to mention it. Sophie Merowitz of PR News lists suggestions by Melanie Cohn, who's the social media marketing manager for Dunkin' Brands. She says, offer an exclusive behind-the-scenes experience for followers. For example, Dunkin' Donuts' mini cooking show on Snapchat. And note, it is not a recruiting effort.
Yeah, but like Dunkin' Donuts we can all make donuts at our house. We can't
Yeah.
make software.
Yeah. I can't just go home and code something for cybersecurity.
I think that's what we're saying is like,
Yeah.
consumer companies have the benefit of making their brand experience translate to their audiences. And that's just really hard with B2B. It takes a very special company.
One way that we have seen businesses using Snapchat incorrectly is an inefficient or just flat out incorrect use of geofencing or geofilters. And since location-based marketing is getting big, they need to get it right. Adam, can you explain what geofilters are?
Yeah, so on Snapchat, if you're in a certain distance from a point, you can use a filter after you take a photo to kind of mark that location, and that's paid for by a company if it's branded. Or, for example, if I'm in San Francisco in a certain distance from the city, I can swipe over and add a filter to say that I'm in San Francisco. So companies can purchase a geo filter. So for example, Starbucks, if you're near a Starbucks store, you can use the Starbucks geo filter to say that you're there once you take a photo.
How do they get it wrong then?
Doing it wrong would be like if you pay for a geo filter, no one wants to use it. If it's not
not engaging enough, or it's not cool enough, or it's not like relatable. Like I know like McDonald's has geo filters for all their locations, and then they change it for the seasons or what holidays coming up. Or
like Starbucks has created like an experience of going to their
Yeah.
store, like from the cups to the albums you can buy at the checkout. Like going to Starbucks is an experience.
Yeah, it's
and-
very Snapchatable.
Exactly.
But if you have a business where you don't really incentivize people to take pictures, there's really no
or like the brand has never been one that the consumer wants to like connect with or own. Like I'm a brand ambassador to X company. Like I would see that as kind of a challenge or a misuse of a geo filter.
Yeah, and like how many people are going to like Cisco's headquarters and being like, look where I am, you know, like.
Yeah.
It doesn't work.
And like I said, I think that the only way that a B2B company would use a geo filter successfully is like at a big hosted event, like a Dreamforce.
Yeah, I can actually see that working pretty well. There was an article in Adweek by Steven Rosenblatt, and he said something I thought was really interesting. He says that coming up, publishers will focus more on showing how digital ad inventory can drive foot traffic into brick and mortar stores. So by using this location-based marketing, you can actually entice people to come into the store and hopefully get them to buy something more.
Not gonna lie, that actually has worked on me because some of the retailers I shop with, like H&M or Forever 21, will have a like a geo filter, and then if I didn't know there was that location near me and I'm on Snapchat and I saw that filter, I was like, wait, where's the H&M I need to go? So it kind of does work.
Yeah, true. Or like offering a discount if you like kind of like how Yelp does check-ins, like get 10% off your meal if you check in with us, or on Foursquare, something like that.
That's a really good idea. We should pitch that to some retail
could use
brands.
it.
Yeah.
He also said in this article that location will become more than just a check-in strategy in order to derive deeper insights into consumer behavior. So the assumption is that Snapchat will gather more information on its users than just where they are at that moment, and then they can tailor the experience to be even more custom.
I think that's cool. I think maybe it's just because sometimes, like say we're at a Victoria's Secret, for example, and as a woman, I would probably be shopping there. But if I brought my boyfriend and he was on Snapchatting at Victoria's Secret, I don't think he'd actually be shopping. He'd probably just be doing it because he's bored. So the fact that they can actually go and get more data out of how we use Snapchat in those locations using those geo filters would be really interesting.
Or if knowing like, as a Snapchat user, I did use a Victoria's Secret geo filter, so therefore XYZ brands, similar brands are relevant to me, and then target the advertising that way.
All right, next up on the list is inefficient use of Snapchat stories. Now, we talked about this a little bit before recording, and what I heard was don't waste your time on Snapchat stories since it's not connected to your account.
Okay, so basically, there's no real like homepage or like profile on Snapchat.
So Snapchat isn't searchable or as searchable or shareable as a Twitter, Instagram, or Facebook, because the only thing you have to refer to is your handle, and so it's all word of mouth marketing. So essentially, if Rosetta's really fond of like one Snapchat channel, she can tell me the name or send it to me, but she can't tag me in it. She can't tag me in the story, and then once the 24 hours has passed, that story is gone.
I think for brands, especially, I think using Instagram stories over Snapchat stories might be more beneficial to them, just because they can go back and check out the profile page of that brand to get more information, and then they could click on a URL to visit their website. But if they're just hearing about them through word of mouth and people are like, oh, this brand's really cool, check out their Snapchat, there's no way for them to actually engage with the brand to get more information unless like they're watching their story and the brand has visit us at blah blah blah.com.
And that's the problem with Snapchat, is it's even on the other end of it, is like a company engaging with influencers. You can't see who the most followed people on Snapchat are, whereas on Instagram there's a really like loud and clear number at the top how many followers they have that you can use to compare them to other influencers.
Because they have those snap points, I guess, but that doesn't really...
I don't even know what that means.
Exactly, yeah. And it doesn't really gauge your influence just because, so, for example, one of our colleagues earlier today asked me what my Snap score was because he was like, oh, you're probably in like the hundreds of thousands. I was like, I'm under 10,000.
Yeah. We know Kim Kardashian is the most followed woman on Snapchat, maybe because they told us, but the reason that she became that is because of her platform and her presence elsewhere. Because she's highly followed on Instagram, people went to Snapchat to see her daily life.
I think if we apply that same thinking to brands, I think it's great for brands to use Snapchat stories to engage their followers, but for them to be pointed towards Snapchat stories on their other channels. I don't think it's like a good way to influence, to use Snapchat as your number one way to engage with your customers, because there's kind of no point if they can't really like get directed anywhere else off of Snapchat. And Snapchat's not clickable, so like even if they did put a website in one of their snaps, they can't really stop that snap to click on it.
Like they have to do the old like Instagram link in bio thing.
I hate
or no, they don't even do that on Snapchat.
They can't do that.
No, because there's no profile.
There's no profile.
It's hard to know the value.
So it would
and now
really
Instagram stories has like a swipe up and you can access a link and you can tag people.
See, that's awesome. I mean, I know
Instagram does Snapchat better than Snapchat.
Yeah, and I think
I'm curious to see like how it plays out.
I really think Snapchat's not going to be around.
I think it'll be like the fun app that people go to like do a voice changer or make their face look weird on a filter.
It's hard to take seriously.
Yeah. There's that girl who does like the weird voices, like Steven, that one.
Yeah,
like
totally.
That's what I think it'll become, like an entertainment location, and they have like they're publicizing those like mini shows in your story now, and they have the media section, but I'm not sure if it'll be like the day-to-day communication app that it used to be.
Would Snapchat stories be a useful method for putting out promo codes?
I guess it would depend. I mean, it would be, but it would also depend on, how many followers you have. And again, trying to get those followers, you have to direct them from somewhere else.
Yeah, like if you already have the platform and it's already there, then sure, go for it.
Yeah, I mean, I think the most successful way I see a brand launch itself on Snapchat was, I mean, it's not really a brand because it's Kylie Jenner and Kylie Cosmetics, but the fact that she gives her behind the scenes on Snapchat, and then she gives previews of her new products coming out, and then she tells people when exactly they're dropping. She does that on Snapchat before she does it on Instagram. So it's kind of like her Snapchat followers get an exclusive look into what's coming, and then they can get on their website faster than the people who follow her just on Instagram. So, I mean, I think that's a really good way to utilize it. So maybe giving a sneak preview to new products on Snapchat makes it a little bit more exclusive before you post it everywhere else on the social channels. But
yeah, and it's hard for a lot of brands to do that.
Exactly.
Yeah, I feel like all I really see is like celebrities opening up the free stuff that they got.
And
talking about it,
just promoting their stuff.
What about influencer programs on Snapchat? If you know that someone has a lot of followers on Snapchat, can you use them in an influencer program?
I think that's what we were saying. It's like it's just kind of hard to know who is highly followed, and then from that, who are their followers. It's like, for example, if you want to go to Kim Kardashian, you can guess who is following her, and if you think that's a good fit for your audience, but you don't really know, because you know, on Twitter and on Instagram, you can go through their list of followers and see who they are and their demographic, but Snapchat, it's just so hard to find that.
The only type of influencer I see this working for is a celebrity. I don't think I really see this for use for like a YouTube influencer or an Instagram influencer, just because you can't really be sure of what their follower numbers are on Snapchat. And they could have a Snapchat and they could just be using it for personal use. They might not actually post to their story for their followers to see. So,
All right, well, how is Snapchat changing? There are some things going on that might help with these issues that we're bringing up. For example, there is an article in Adweek by Marty Swant, and he talks about more effective advertising. Machine learning predicts which users are more likely to swipe on an ad. It's a new feature from Snapchat called goal-based bidding.
I guess the way Snapchat works is you view your friends' stories in a thread. It used to be that once you click the top one, it would go all the way down to the bottom, so you exited, and it's no longer that way. You now select which you want to view, and you can kind of click them and select them to view them as a playlist of sorts, and then within this specific, or the individual stories, an ad will show up. And so I guess what they're trying to see is like who exits the story playlist as soon as an ad pops up and who sticks out the ad until they get to the next one, and then they'll target those users based on what they find. I've not seen it, but I do occasionally see ads every now and then. And I don't really use the little media section. You guys might know if they advertise within there.
I don't know anybody who uses the media section.
I watch Cosmo.
Avidly.
That's it.
Daily Mail's got it down though.
Yeah,
they have a
Mail's
really
pretty
good
funny.
one.
I only really watch like lifestyle stuff, and the ads are maybe every 5 slides or something like that, and it's all really relevant to to that particular brand. So I mean, it's not like breaking my heart that I have to watch it, but when ads do pop up when I'm watching through my stories, I'm like the one person who's like,
I'm bothered.
Who
Yeah,
is
I'm like,
this?
get out of here.
Or I'm not paying attention until the ad pops up, and I'm like, wait.
And you didn't even have time to pay attention to the ad.
Yeah, and I'm like, wait, who is this person that I'm following? And I was like, oh,
You
it's
see the
an
one
ad.
like the one that they're doing now about there's like a proposal. It's like some Snapchat TV show. I think they're trying to advertise.
Oh my gosh, yeah. And I was like, wait, which one of my friends got proposed to? And I was like, I
Uh-huh.
don't know these people. Yeah. So I was so confused. I was like, wait, is this an advertisement?
Yeah, and it makes me mad that they got rid of the feature that lets you just look at everybody's story continuously. Mm-hmm. But so now you look at one story and then it ends and you have to click on somebody else's story. But the ad automatically plays no matter what.
But you can actually add people's stories and then watch them in a row.
Yeah,
I
like the
know,
playlist.
I know.
I think that they were
it
getting.
doesn't tell you how to do that though.
See, that's the sneaky thing about Snapchat. They come out with all these new features, but they don't really tell you how to use it.
Which I think is kind of cool.
It is kinda cool.
Everyone taught themselves how to work Snapchat.
That's true. Yeah. Oh, did you guys know you guys could Shazam music now on Snapchat?
Ah.
Really?
Yes. So
didn't know that.
Yeah, there's these like random.
So they're
new
updating
features.
it and making it competitive. I think when it comes to advertising, though, the only benefit I see as an advertiser is a geo filter or a face filter, and it's like for a brand that can do it, that's playful. Or I can imagine it's like a cool brand that you like that everyone knows of that's kind of gone away. Like for example, like we don't hear about Airheads anymore. Like they exist, but if
That'd
they
be
did like a
awesome
cool
filter.
like that balloon face, like
totally.
to
Yeah.
kind of reconnect with their audience, like that could see being really successful.
Yeah.
But it's for brands that we already associate with being fun and
Yeah.
young. Yeah. So TBD on the ads and the story thing. I have no idea.
All right, here is what I'm thinking our conclusion is, and you guys can tell me if I'm right or if I'm a little off. Only large consumer brands should put significant effort into Snapchat right now.
I agree with that.
I support that.
Rosetta.
Yeah, I totally agree.
Rosetta's on Snapchat right now.
Getting distracted by Snapchat while talking about Snapchat.
Yeah, I think that's safe to say.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, we are going to sign off, but we are definitely going to take a snap and post it on the vlog.
Hey.
Listeners, please let me know what your experience with Snapchat is. Have you ever seen a snap from a B2B company and thought, what the heck? Or have you been fooled by ads? Or what do you think is going on in the future with Snapchat? Let me know by tweeting us at SparkPR. And thanks, guys, for being here, and we will see you on the next episode.
Thank you.
Thanks.
Clock out and see the bottom line rise. Spark.